Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. Some breaking news coming in. Nepalese media is now claiming that Nepal President Ram Chandra Poudel has now resigned following large-scale violent protests in the country. This comes shortly after President Poudel accepted Prime Minister Sharma Oli's resignation. All right, we'll continue to talk about this with our guests and try and understand what's happening in Nepal. Major General Gigi Dwivedi, Global and Strategic Defense Expert, with us on the show. Adit Kothari, International Affairs Expert, with us on the program. Gautam Mukherjee, Senior Journalist, joins us on the show. And last but not the least, Professor Madhav Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian, here with us on the program as well. Professor Nalapat, I'll begin with you, sir. So we have seen, a lot of upheaval in Nepal in the last few decades and years. But to categorize as, one of the most disturbing things to happen in Nepal, this would perhaps be on top of that list. What does this spell for Nepal? Is a regime change at this juncture, at this anvil, going to do anything for the country? And mind you, the people and the students and the younger generation in Nepal is protesting at this point in time, Professor Nalapat, because they feel that the system is not working for them. The system is working for the system and against the citizens of Nepal.
Look, Vineet, the problem is basically, in one word, corruption. And when you have large-scale corruption taking on greater and greater salience at higher and higher levels, then you have complete and utter frustration, especially of Gen Z. And don't forget, mass protests are not new in history, and they've always been going on wherever there are forces working, discontent, dissatisfaction with the existing government. So I think the problem in Nepal was that KP Sharma Oli had become very complacent, and he thought he was controlling almost the Nepali parliament. He was controlling other institutions. He was certainly doing very well in ensuring that his view came across in the media, and the youth had only social media to turn to. So they turned to social media. And the fact is Oli is very pro-China, but quite ironically, it's TikTok, which is a Chinese platform, that played such a key role in spreading the message that we need to protest. And either the Chinese were caught napping or they knew they could not do much about it. And because if they do that, TikTok will basically be a target of attack. So the reality is, frankly, Vineet, that it's very important for Gen Z to believe that the government is on its side, and that too, on its side in the sense of providing good jobs, a good education, and health care, not only for themselves but for their families. The Oli Sharma failed completely in that responsibility. They failed absolutely, totally. And at the same time, many of their family and friends were becoming more and more wealthy, and several of them even had homes abroad. So the gap was so wide and so glaring, and social media platforms, platforms such as TikTok, such as the various other platforms, pointed out to what they were doing in foreign countries. It's so easy to take an image and then post it on social media where it can go viral. So as a consequence, you have a lot of information and you don't have enough of an effort to basically root out corruption. And after some time, the tinder gets set on fire. Of course, the problem comes when the fire is set by the wrong people, as happened in Bangladesh, for example, where the tinder of corruption of the ruling Hasina government was set on fire. But who took advantage of that? Extremist factions. So that is a danger that Nepal also will need to avoid. But having said that, I'd like to say one thing, Vineet, that is, never take Gen Z for granted. Gen Z is quite aware of the situation. Gen Z is able to sift through various types of information and misinformation. It's able to sift out propaganda from facts, And above all, its access to social media has given it the ability to check on the lifestyles of politicians, officials, their friends, their relatives, not only in India, but everywhere, everywhere. And I mean, that is why, Vineet, I would say that digitalization has changed our lives, I think, for the better. And one thing the Prime Minister has done is to ensure that there is more and more digitization, including in financial matters. And that is again very welcome, because once you bring in platforms that are objective, like blockchain, you cannot hide. There are one way or the other, cyber sleuths will get to you. So you can run, but you cannot hide. There's no way you can park your money anywhere in the world without some cyber sleuth being able to locate it. So that's the good news. And I think Prime Minister Modi needs to be thanked for the immense attention he has given to making India digitally literate. And I think Gen Z is particularly digitally literate, as I know very well, you know very well. Every succeeding generation has been better, more aspirational than the previous one. And the problem comes when the lifestyles of the Gen Z do not change, they become miserable, they do not find job opportunities in their own country, and then they are blocked from finding job opportunities abroad through blocking of social media. So this becomes an intolerable situation. So I think Nepal is a wake-up call, frankly, for governments all across the world. I mean, including in so-called developed countries, where they need to know that there is now accountability 24/7. There is now accountability all the days of the year, and not just during election. And that's thanks to social media. And now you're bringing artificial intelligence into that. So there again, it's a highly combustible mix. And they have to be very careful to ensure that that mix does not catch fire. But once it does, that fire spreads is basically unpredictable. Vineet.